Salute, salute, salute. This is your boy King Jr. Got some more boxing news for y'all. So, I kind of want to refresh back on Teddy Atlas. You guys probably seen my video a couple of days ago. Some of you have, some of you hasn't. Seen my video on Teddy Atlas saying that he's basically picking Terrence Crawford to win. And, Teddy Atlas is a guy that he talks good and talks greasy sometimes. That gets you hyped up for certain type of things, and sometimes he just talks 100% biasness, and he's supposed to be this so-called boxing expert or stuff like that goes all the way back to the 90s. Now don't get me wrong, he's a hell of a trainer, but some of the stuff that comes out of this dude's mouth is just alarming to me. And Teddy Atlas basically said on his channel and in an interview on his own channel, basically saying when he's talking about the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford situation, he's basically just looking at Crawford mostly, not Errol Spence. He's basically saying, well, Crawford has that inner dog in him. He just goes out and get it better than Spence. He knows what to do when Crawford doesn't have another plan. He goes to this plan and he sets the guy up and get him up out of there, because Crawford has all these sorts of type of tools that Errol Spence doesn't have. So he goes on a rant basically saying this on his channel and stuff like that when it comes to the two. And I find it very ironic, because sometimes Teddy Atlas, he fanboys for a certain type of fighter. He did it when he was on the Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fight at the time. I believe it was on HBO when that fight was hosted on. And he was basically saying Manny Pacquiao has this, he has that, he's got all these tools. It looks like Manny Pacquiao's winning, and it looks like it's in his favor. He's basically pushing Manny Pacquiao to win and make it think that Manny Pacquiao's doing all this. Now, don't get me wrong, Manny Pacquiao was giving Floyd Mayweather that work, but statistically, Floyd Mayweather was pinpointing Manny Pacquiao's sweet spots. He was controlling Manny Pacquiao. He was turning Manny Pacquiao. There was some times that Manny Pacquiao had his moments that he had Floyd on the rope trying to see how he can break that shoulder roll defense against Floyd. But Floyd was just too smart of a fighter, just too high ring IQ to overcome the great Manny Pacquiao, like these other boxing pundits basically is saying. And yeah, so that's what, you get a guy like basically Teddy Atlas is saying. So a lot of people I like to hear, well, Teddy Atlas like to hear, and basically saying, well, Crawford's got a lot of dog. He's got a lot of dog. Well, first of all, don't get me wrong. Crawford fans is going to run with this in my comment section saying, how can you say that about Crawford? Spence ain't got this. No, I'm not saying nothing. Crawford is a exceptional talent. He has a lot of dog. He does. But can y'all name a fight that Terrence Crawford really, if he had such much of a, well, y'all basically talking about the fights that he's had the dog in him to knock him out, but can y'all really name the fights that Terrence Crawford really has gone to a war with? Like, really? Like what are the names? Like, can you say, I'm guessing you Crawford fans would probably say Victor Postile, Hank Lunny, Thomas Delorme, who else? David Avanesian, Jose Benavidez, Sean Porter, oh my god, the list goes on and on. Basically, Egis Kavaliakis. Do y'all really think that Crawford went into a war with those guys? Crawford made it look real easy. This is why I say that the fight might be a little bit one-sided in our favor, Errol Spence to beat Crawford, because Crawford has an easier path. Just because you take an easier path thinking that your body's going to be ready for Errol Spence because you haven't taken the most damage, that doesn't mean that you can win the fight. Now, I do have to think you have the talent to beat Errol Spence, but I just don't see it. I might be blind, but I just don't see you beating Errol Spence in my opinion. But I can name the fights that Errol Spence Jr. had wars in. I can name a ton of fights that Errol Spence Jr. had some wars in. Well, there's a couple he had fights and wars, but Errol Spence been through those wars. Well, I can name two examples. Sean Porter and Danis Ugas. Danis Ugas, he fought a completely different style than what I usually see him fight. But he was, well, I ain't gonna say completely different, but you could tell he was trying to put on a show for the crowd. But he was standing right there in the pocket, which that's Errol Spence's strong suit, working in the pocket, fighting a guy that's, basically looking to bang with you. And Errol Spence Jr. and Ugas went to war. Sean Porter and Errol Spence Jr. went to war. Sean Porter at times was pushing Errol Spence Jr. back to show that he was the aggressor in the fight. So Errol Spence Jr. has been into wars. If you want to throw Danny Garcia in there, you can throw Danny Garcia in there as well. So Errol Spence Jr. has been in those wars with those type of guys. But let me just throw this to backtrack, you Crawford fans. Ain't none of y'all want to talk about how Crawford lost to Yordenis Ugas in the amateurs. I'll wait. But with that being said, guys, I'm not going to keep this video too long. Teddy Atlas, you know, this guy, he just simply is an Errol Spence Jr. hater. If you guys don't really know who Teddy Atlas is, go back and look at most of the big fights that Teddy Atlas used to commentate on Showtime at that time. Not Showtime, but HBO at that time when HBO was running. And you'll see how he'll be fanboying for a certain type of fighter to win the fight. And he basically did it, the situation where he said a long time ago, like maybe a year ago, that he said that Lomachenko was top pound for pound guy, #1 over Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. Fuck out of here, Teddy Atlas, at the end of the day. So with that being said, guys, it is what it is at the end of the day. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on your way in, on your way out. This is your boy King Jr. We will be back with some more boxing news. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.